All right, let's get started on, we're going to do 7.4.2, all right, using the zero product property. That would have been a lot longer TikTok, but I'm in quarantine. That means I'm here by myself. So that's a conga line of one. So, all right, let's get this on the board. 7.4.2, using zero property. Okay. Love this section. It's very useful, very helpful. All right. Very, very straightforward. Okay. And we're going to be skipping around a little bit in here. So make sure you're paying attention, following along. And we're just going to kind of go for it. So here we go. One thing I want to talk about before we get started is this. It's going to seem weird. A times B equals 0. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean, I'm taking two things and multiplying them together, and the answer has to be 0. Okay? So this tells me one of two things. All right? It says that either A is 0, all right, because 0 times something is 0, or B is 0, meaning something times 0 is 0. So these are the two pieces of information I need to grind into my head to get the answer here, okay? By the way, my bananas, not doing so well. So we're going to have to eat them later. But here we go. So number one says 2x times x minus 4 equals 0. So here's how we do it. We say 2x equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. Divide by 2, x equals 0, or add 4, and you get x equals 4. That's how you do it. So basically I'm solving two one-step equations, something we did way back in like October, November. I believe the proper term you guys would use is we haven't done that in a minute, or in a grip. I believe those are the proper terms these days. Okay? So that is number one. Okay? So now we're going to do number two. Okay? It's funny. Number two. So number two says x times x minus 1 equals 0. All right, so we're going to set this equal to 0. Oh, look, that's done. X equals 0. There's nothing left to solve. And we're going to set this equal to 0. So when I add 1 there, I get x equals 1. Now, why do I need to do this? Well, where we're going with this is we're going to be taking what we were doing in 7.4.1 and this, and we're going to put them together, and we're going to solve these equations, okay? We're going to factor, then solve. So that's why I have to do this stuff. All right? So let's look at question number 3. All right, question number 3 says x minus 3 times x minus 3 equals 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, that's not minus 3, it's supposed to be a minus 9, so we're going to do this equals 0, this equals 0, I'm going to add 3, and over there I would add 9, okay? So 0 plus 3, well that's 3, 0 plus 9 is 9. So my two answers are 3 and 9. Okay. Let's look at number 4. says b plus 7 squared equals 0. Well, remember, that squaring from last week, okay, is talking about that's b plus 7 times b plus 7 equals 0. Now I said that equals 0 and that equals 0. How do you get rid of plus 7, Joey? Minus 7. Oh man, pots and pans. So we have b equals negative 7 and b equals negative 7. So it's okay that the answers are the same. We're good to go on that. Now things get a little trickier. So how do I do a question like number 5? All right, so number 5 is 2x squared plus 10x equals 0. So now what we have to do is we have to do what we were doing in 7.4.1 and apply it to this. Okay? So I'm going to factor magic. I'm going to factor out something from both of those. Notice they both have an x. And what goes into 2 and 10? 2. So we're going to do 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. X squared divided by x is x. X divided by... So now I have my two pieces here. I'm going to set this equal to 0. And set that equal to 0. Subtract 5 on this side. X equals negative 5. Divide by 2 here. X equals 0. Bada bing, bada boom. Realest dude in the room. So, let's play What's That Sound? Do you know what that sound that is? Sound of a mechanical toothbrush. Mechanical. Wife's brushing her teeth. Middle of my video. Unreal. Unreal. How am I supposed to teach in these conditions? All right. So, question number 6, a little bit more difficult. So now I have p's on opposite sides of the equal sign. So now I have to kind of get everything to one side. Doesn't matter what side. I like that side because the p squared's on that side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3p. And 0 equals 15p squared minus 3p. Can't combine them. Now, what do they have in common? They have p's and a 3. So I'm going to factor out a 3 and a p. 15 divided by 3 is 5. P squared divided by p is p. 3p divided by 3p is just 1. So there we go. So now I have these two parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set each one equal to 0. Now this is a two-step equation. So I'm going to add 1. I have 5p equals 1. Then I divide by 5. And I get p equals 1/5. You might get fractions here. You might not. It's luck of the draw. Here you divide by 3 and you get p equals 0. So your two answers are 1/5 and 0. All right. So now on the next page, you have some that you can try on your own. Okay, they're the you try. So I'm going to let you guys work on those. And there's a good bit of them. So I firmly believe you can do questions 1 and 2, no problem. You should be able to do question 5 pretty simple as well. Question number 8, pretty quickly. The others, check the notes. If you have questions about it, reach out to me. And until then, go Birds.